To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. You've seen this verse on greeting cards, Instagram posts, and motivational posters. It sounds comforting, balanced, almost therapeutic. But here's what nobody tells you. Ecclesiastes 3 isn't a feel-good message about work-life balance. It's actually one of the most uncomfortable passages in the entire Bible. And when you understand what Solomon's really saying, it'll either set you free or make you really angry. Probably both. Let's be honest. Everyone knows Ecclesiastes 3 1-8. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to weep and a time to laugh. The Birds turned it into a hit song. It gets quoted at funerals. It's everywhere. But we've completely sanitized what Solomon is actually saying. And I'm about to ruin this passage for you in the best possible way. Here's what we think it means. Life has seasons, and that's beautiful. There's balance, good times, bad times, everything evens out. Just go with the flow. Nice and tidy, right? Wrong. Dead wrong. Look at the verses again. But this time pay attention to what Solomon's actually listing. A time to kill. A time to tear down. A time to weep. A time to mourn. A time to hate. A time for war. Does that sound like comforting balance to you? Solomon's not saying, embrace the ebb and flow of life's beautiful journey. He's saying, there are going to be seasons of your life that absolutely suck, and you can't do anything about it. Verse 1. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. The key word is under heaven. Under heaven means under God's sovereignty, under His control, under His timing. You don't get to choose your season. You don't get to skip the hard parts. There's a time for weeping whether you like it or not. There's a time for mourning that you can't avoid. There's a time for losing things you love, and no amount of positive thinking will change it. This isn't balance. This is surrender. Now, before you think I'm being unnecessarily harsh, stick with me, because verse 11 is where this gets wild. He has made everything beautiful in its time. He has also set eternity in the hearts of men, yet they cannot fathom the work that God has done from beginning to end. He has set eternity in the hearts of men. The Hebrew word there is olam. It means eternity, forever, the distant future and past. God has placed eternity in your heart. You have an eternal perspective hardwired into your soul. And here's the problem. You're living in time. You've got eternity in your heart, but you're stuck in seasons you can't control. You want forever, but you're living in a time for this, a time for that. You long for permanence, but everything under heaven is temporary. That tension, that frustration, that sense that this season is taking too long, or I can't wait for this to be over, that's the olam in your heart, fighting against the time for everything reality you're living in. And Solomon says, yet they cannot fathom the work that God has done from beginning to end. You can't see the full picture. You're in the middle of the painting, and you're frustrated because you can't understand why God is using dark colors right now. You've got eternity in your heart, but you only see today. That's the burden. Verse 10-11. I have seen the burden that God has laid upon the sons of men to occupy them. He has made everything beautiful in its time. Everything is beautiful in its time. Not in your preferred time, not when you think it should happen, in His time. The season of weeping is beautiful in its time. The season of mourning is beautiful in its time. The season of tearing down is beautiful in its time. You don't believe that, do you? When you're in the valley, when you're in the hard season, when you're in the waiting room of life, you're not thinking, this is beautiful. You're thinking, God, how long? When does this end? Why is this taking so long? And that's the whole point. You can't fathom it. You've got eternity in your heart, but you're trapped in time. And until you surrender to God's timing instead of demanding your own, you're going to fight every season that doesn't align with your preferences. Here's where this gets really personal for those of you under persecution, under oppression, under hard circumstances. A time to be silent and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. A time for war and a time for peace. You're in a season you didn't choose. You're in circumstances you didn't create. And you're probably praying, God, end this season. Move me to the next one. I'm ready for the time to laugh part now. But Solomon's saying something different. He's saying God has appointed this season for this purpose. And you fighting against it, you resenting it, you constantly wishing you were somewhere else. That's not faith. That's not trust. That's you trying to be God. Trying to control the timing. Trying to skip to the chapters you prefer. Look at verse 14. I know that everything God does endures forever. Nothing can be added to it or taken from it. God does it so that they should fear Him. Everything God does endures forever. Not just the good seasons, not just the comfortable seasons. Everything. The season of planting and the season of uprooting. The season of weeping and the season of laughing. All of it. Forever. Why? So that they should fear Him. So you'll recognize that He is God and you are not. So you'll stop trying to control the timing and start trusting the timer. Verse 15. What exists has already been, and what will be has already existed. For God calls back what is past. God is outside of time. He sees the beginning and the end simultaneously. You're experiencing your life like a movie, one frame at a time. He's looking at the whole thing laid out in front of Him. And He's telling you, trust me with the timing. Here's what you can do this week. Stop fighting your current season. I'm not saying enjoy it if it's painful. I'm saying stop resisting it. Stop living like you're in the wrong chapter of your life. Stop constantly thinking, when this is over, then I'll be okay. You're in this season for a reason. Maybe it's a season of weeping. Maybe it's a season of losing. Maybe it's a season of silence when you want to speak. And you can either fight it and stay miserable, or you can surrender to it and ask, God, what are you doing in this season? What am I supposed to learn when I can't see the end? How do I trust you when I've got eternity in my heart, but I'm stuck in this painful moment? Because here's the truth. The people who read Ecclesiastes 3:1-8 at funerals aren't wrong to do it, but they're only half right. Yes, there's a time for death, but there's also a time when death feels permanent, feels final, feels like it's stolen everything. And in that moment, you need to remember, you've got eternity in your heart. And death is just another season that God will make beautiful in His time. That's the scandalous message of Ecclesiastes 3. Not everything happens for a reason in some cosmic balance, but God appoints the seasons, and He's not asking your permission. You can fight Him on it, or you can fear Him, which means trusting Him even when you can't fathom His work. Solomon wrote this after experiencing every season possible. And his conclusion? God's timing is perfect, even when it's painful. Especially when it's painful. Subscribe, because the rest of Ecclesiastes is going to keep wrecking your comfortable theology. You're welcome. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.